Hey there, this is Greg, the Masked Gamer, and I am coming to you with my first ever play of The Dark Quarter. That's right, it arrived a few months ago. The app released overnight last night, and today is the first day everybody on the planet is getting to play it, except for the people who were up late last night. Haha. For those of you who are new to my channel, this is a place for COVID cautious folks to talk about board games. I am playing by myself today, so I do not need to wear a mask. But for those of you who are not COVID cautious, you are also welcome here, provided there is no minimization, denialism, or harassment of any kind of those of us who still may take mitigations during these trying times. Now, this is a game that I am going to be playing with one of my gaming groups, the same group that plays Arkham Horror LCG and Vampire Milan Uprising. We'll also be rotating the Dark Quarter into our schedule, so it's going to be very slow going for us, because basically what we do is we do one scenario of Arkham Horror, and then we play Vampire Milan Rising until everybody has to leave. So next time we're going to be doing Arkham Horror once, and then this, and then the time after that, Arkham Horror, and then Vampire, and then the time after that, Arkham Horror, and then this, and so on, and so forth, and so on, and so forth, and we managed to meet like maybe once a month. So it is going to take forever to get through these games. Now, if this game was playable true solo, I would have been really tempted to just dive in and go all the way through, but I don't want to like ruin any of the characters that we're playing. So, what's going to be happening today is I'm going to be playing as Winter Mullins and John Robichaux, because my assumption is there is absolutely a 0% chance that both of my friends pick both of those two characters, forcing one of the two that I'm not playing today to be left out. So one of the two characters who's being played today will not be in my full playthrough, and this will be my only chance to be exposed to them. Some other stuff about today's playthrough before I dive in. First, I do have the box of specialty NPC miniatures. I am not going to use that for this playthrough because it's also going to just be easier for y'all to see on the overhead camera with the NPC tokens. I just think that's the better way to do it. I have read the instructions. I do expect things to be slow. I do have an iPad. I'm not going to hold it all the way up to the camera like I tried to do when I did the Vampire Milan Uprising playthrough. I don't think that's going to be a big deal. I think everything's going to be just fine and simple and dandy with this. I just don't think it's going to be as complicated. And I think I've set up the camera and everything to be as good as it's going to be. But before we dive in, let's talk about the two characters that we are going to play today. So the first is, well, let me do the mini cam first. So no, other way around. So first we have John Robichaux. Jean Robichaux. Jean Robichaux is green, my favorite color. This is likely to be the character that I play in our group playthrough, I'm guessing. I'm gonna do my best to not do some funky New Orleans accents. Also, I noticed that this video has already shifted 100-fold from where it was when I first started recording this in terms of how wide it is. I had it shifted I don't know what's going on anymore. That looks like it's still going to mostly fit. But I apologize for my very heavy phone case and how it's going to be weighing this stuff down. All right, so Jean Robichaux. Things that were once said about Jean Robichaux. The most promising homicide detective I've ever seen. John's fine at parties, but have you met Maria? Damn charming woman. How the hell did he punch that far above his weight? If I didn't like him so much, I'd be jealous of his career, wife, talent. Shit, I basically want to be John Robichaux. Well, then Maria was murdered. Saw that coming. Her case went unsolved. Robichaux was let go for unresolved anger issues, amongst other things, and his life fell apart. Things that are said about Jean Robichaux now. A tragedy what happened to Maria, but no less tragic what happened to John. Shame he couldn't pull himself together. I heard he threw in with the Beaumont agency. That man could solve any problem blindfolded and handcuffed, but now he's broken and used up, bottom of the barrel, even for the likes of Beaumont. Who, Robichaux? You mean John I lost my shit Robichaux? Is he still alive? Poor Jean Robichaux. You know, it's kind of like me before 2020 and me after 2020. I fucking life. All right, the other character that we're going to be playing as today is Winter Mullins, the old dude. I get the feeling nobody's going to want to play Winter Mullins, the old dude, except for my friend Luis, who is not playing this game. Winter Mullins, the old dude. Winter Mullins saw dead people, so he's Haley Joel Osment grown up. rotund older dude. Haley Joel Osment. But at least Winter Mullins is probably not sexually harassing people. Oh my gosh, I'm being so inappropriate today, but this is an R-rated game, y'all. This is not for your kids. Okay, anywho. He could even talk... Oh, Winter Mullins saw dead people. He could even talk to the poor bastards, which would drive most people insane. The good news was that Mullins could only see them while he was drunk. The bad news, he was almost always drunk. So he's also William H. Macy's character from Shameless. Great. Mullins' unwanted party trick developed around the time he lost his dream job as head chef at Toussaint's, one of the most decorated restaurants in the city. The manner of his exit was violent enough to ensure that no one else would ever hire him, not even those hole-in-the-wall grease cooks slinging po' boys and dirty rice. Left with nothing, Mullins began to drink like the devil himself. And with his newfound hobby came his newfound drinking buddies, rotting corpses, which never shut the fuck up. Why this happened to him, he didn't know, but it did find him an unlikely job at the Beaumont Agency. An investigator who could speak to the dead often came in handy, even if he was perpetually sauced. Most people didn't mind, though, since Mullins, despite being 8 sheets to the wind on any given day, was one charming son of a bitch. Okay, so those are the 2 characters that we're playing as, and here we have our New Orleans board and our character sheets. And over here we're going to have some other character sheets, and over here we're going to have some inventory stuff, and that's going to be what we see. And again, this camera was in a much better position like not 5 minutes ago, so I expect this to continue to sink down as we play this game. What we're going to do at start is we will put our friendly iPad over here, but this will... Oh, it's got to be like this, I think. We'll put our friendly iPad here for now. I don't know. We'll figure out what to do with our friendly iPad as we go. I'm gonna just move my keyboard out of the way and put my friendly iPad here. You know what I just realized? Y'all were just seeing me put my password into my friendly iPads. I'm gonna have to change that. So there's some ambient music playing that I don't think you can hear based on how the mic is picking it up. But here we go. As agents of the Beaumont Agency, you conduct a dangerous investigation in New Orleans. To play this game, you need the physical board game. Do you have it? Yes. Yes, I do have it. I don't know why this says download, but it says download. Oh, I have to download more scenario data. You know, that's funny because I definitely did this before filming today. I swear. So some stuff that we're going to be doing today in solo mode. We're going to be using time pressure level high, the pressure cooker. So there's going to be times in the game where a character has to make a choice, and they have to make it super duper fast, like a quick time event in like Until Dawn or the Dark Pictures anthology. When I play this with my group later, one of them is a slow reader, so we will probably use a lower setting, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, great. So I said that. There's also a button there that you can do to say that you have the miniatures, but we're not going to say we have the miniatures today. We're just going to click New Game. It's thinking. Okay. Select everything else you're playing with. I'm not using the miniature expansion or the Yesterday Demon today, but I do have all of those components. Over here, we have some other buttons. Oh, I can turn off the sound over here. Oh, that lets me exit to the main menu. We're just going to press OK. I have already said I want to choose the high time pressure cooker, so we're going to do that. You've denied permission to access your camera. The app requires camera access to scan the QR codes. Please make sure to allow the app to access your camera. Yes, it never even gave me that choice. I said yes, it can access the camera. Great. So now we're going to choose our characters. It's only these 4 characters. Now, if you buy this game, there's a second box that has 4 other characters in a different campaign. And then the Yesterday Demons let you play as these and like backstories. But anywho, this will give you that same storyline as all of them in the app, not so you don't have to read the back of the board. But we are going to choose Jean Robichaux and Winter Mullins for this playthrough and press OK. All right, so this is how we are going to set up our characters. I'm just going to put this down on the board. You can kind of see it here. So this is telling us where we're setting up our cubes on the board. John Robichaux has a talent of 4, 7, 9, a combat of 5, 7. Oh, I see. I think these were supposed to be different colors for each stat, not all green. But yeah, oops, I messed that up. I thought each character had its own color, not each trait had its own color, so I took out like all the wrong cubes. All the wrong cubes belong to us. I have done a terrible job of preparing for today's adventure. But what else is new? Greg messes it up. Greg messes it up. Okay, his combat is 5, 7, and 11. 7, 11. His arcane is 7, 10, 11. And we'll talk about what all these numbers mean once I set up his board, and then we'll do it faster for the other character. And his charisma is 5, 9, and 11. 5, 11. So let's take a look at what these stats are and what this actually means. So here's his board. You can see where his stats are. So what happens is when you do a test in this game, you get to roll these 2 main dice, and then you get to roll these up to 3 effort dice, depending on how many you've stored up. Right? You add all of those numbers together and you get a number, I don't know, maybe it goes above 12. But for each cube you pass, you get a success. So like if I rolled a 6, I would get 1 success in every trait except for arcane, which I wouldn't. If I was testing my investigation and I rolled a 7, I get 2 successes because I passed 2 cubes. If I rolled a 10, I would get 3 successes because I passed 3 cubes. Whenever we level up a skill by default or level down a skill, we would move the rightmost cube 1 space to the left to increase it or 1 space to the right to lower it. We can also spend experience points to move cubes to the left at the cost of 2 cubes for this area, 3 cubes for this area, 4 cubes for this area. So the more we have cubes to the left, the easier it is to get successes. Also, on our effort dice, there is a side that is an auto success, so that adds a success to your roll, so you can get more than 3 successes ostensibly. And all of the dice, both the effort dice and the main dice, have a star side, which is technically a 0, but other game effects can interact with it. Okay. If you have any questions about that, too bad. All right, starting items. He is going to start with item card number 1, which is money, and item card number 16, which is a crowbar. We do not shuffle decks in this game. These decks have a certain number. So here is his money card, and you'll see this has a QR code on it. So like at certain points in time during the game, you can scan his money. And this is used for purchases. You can discard it during an intermission to add 1 experience point to your personal inventory. And I'm going to put that off to the left there where you're not going to see it. Then he has a crowbar. In any combat test, he can add 1 to the roll total for each roll that is a number. And this is also scannable and can be used in other ways. All right, we're going to press OK. Then we have Winter Mullins. Winter Mullins has talent of 5, 9, and 11. He has combat of 7, 9, and 11. He has arcane of 6, 8, and 11. And he has charisma of 5, 7, and 10. So just kind of looking at these characters, 5, 7, 10. So just looking at these characters kind of comparatively, Jean is the best at investigation. He's also much better at combat than Winter. Winter's got some more arcane skill than Jean, though, and Winter is also better at charisma, but just by a little bit. He's also got some money, and that doesn't say money, that was the wrong column. He's also got some money, and of course, because he's an alcoholic, he also has rum. Now, there's more than 1 copy of each item card in here, but there is a limited number, so if you get more than exists, that's too bad. So here is rum with its QR code, and before a roll in any test, you can add 1 success and then subtract a success for each star you roll. So it's very much a let's go gambling sort of situation there. Pressing OK. All players set up. All players will find their 3 ability cards marked on their back with an S icon, which I've done already. We'll select one of those 3 and unlock it for free, and then the rest will be combined together to form a deck of your ability cards that can be unlocked throughout the game by spending experience. So first, let's see which ability we're going to use for Jean Robichaux. He has The professional, in all tests, every 4 also adds 2 to the roll total. The brilliant detective, in investigation tests, each auto success counts double. And driven by grief, in all tests, each star adds X to the roll, where X is the number of effort dice that were used to a maximum of 3. Now, based on my rolling luck in general, I'm going to choose driven by grief, which says in all tests, each star will add an X to the total roll, where X is the number of effort dice that I used. Then we have Winter Mullins. Winter Mullins has Tell Them You Know Me. This is a cooperative skill, which means he can use it to aid somebody else at his location. In all charisma tests, in any location, every effort die that he lends adds 1 to the roll total, and he can add 1 even when he's not at the same location. So he can use this cooperative skill from anywhere. Very good if there was a higher player count. Gambling Man. Before the roll in all tests, name a number. If the roll total is equal to that number, add an experience point. Yeah, that's never going to happen to me. That's. Why does he have 4 and John only had 3? That's how it works. Maybe I left one in the box. I don't think so. Nope. That's just how many cards there were. All right. Silver Tongue. And this is charisma questioning tests, and you can tell that because of the little white thing above the crown. In all charisma questioning tests, automatically add 1 success. And charm is my middle name. In all tests, if you roll any stars on your main die, 1 other character of your choice can refresh a die, which will stack well with Driven by Grief. But I'm going to go ahead and use Silver Tongue, which just gives me this automatic success to questioning. I don't know why, that's just what I'm going with. All right, we're going to press OK. Did every player take their starting items and set their skills? Yes. The breaking. There's no narration, so I'm going to do story time reading to you. Ready? Here we go. Why is this bad? Okay. New Orleans, 1981. It was the hottest August on record in New Orleans. The humidity blanketed the city like a mass of rancid honey. Jazz riffs leaped out of the French Quarter, valiantly trying to pierce the sweltering air. People stumbled from street to street and parish to parish as if in a sweat-drenched trance. If ever the city lived up to its ancient nickname, the Wet Grave, it was the summer of 81. I mean, I don't know that that's necessarily true. I'm pretty sure that that's inappropriate. I mean, it's had wetter graves than 81. The murder, it was brutal and archaic. The victim, the mayor's chief assistant, Frank Poisson, was powerful and important. It was a perfect storm of bad juju from the moment the patrolmen came upon the gory display in Louis Armstrong Park. Reporters and rubberneckers swarmed the crime scene almost before the NOPD could rope it off. The detective in charge took one look, vomited into the bushes, the first time in his career that a crime scene had so turned his ironclad stomach, and said out loud to no one in particular, "This is going to hang on our necks like a fucking millstone if we don't put it to bed immediately." A call was made for outside help, a call no one really wanted to make, but in this instance, the NOPD wasn't above begging. Thus, the Beaumont Agency was asked to consult on what would become the first of the Congo murders. So we already know there's going to be more. Game progress is automatically saved at the start of each full game turn. Saved games can be loaded by selecting a previously played campaign or scenario and pressing continue. You can trigger the save process by tapping a floppy disk icon, which is visible at points where it is safe to save the game. Note that in order to save the state of your character's physical components, you need to trigger the save process manually as described above. Autosave does not do that automatically. What is this? Setup. The city of New Orleans. So this is the city of New Orleans. We set up the city board. I want to see what this does. That is history. Okay, so we can just go back and see things that have happened. We're going to press OK. The agency quarters and the office of Director Sophie Romero. So we're going to take number 1, and this would be a miniature if you had the miniature version for the record. And we're going to put her just about here. Nope. We're going to put her just about. Why is that on the thing?
No, I moved the whole board and I broke everything I set up because I suck at life.
Okay. We're going to put her about here. I guess that's where it looks like she is. Sure. Then we're going to press OK. I'll be brief. Here's the evidence file, straight from the NOPD, but it's as thin as my fucking patience. So track down whoever did it in Boisseau and work out why they chose to do it like this. Romero returned to her work dismissing the agents. We're going to place all of our character miniatures next to the Boisseau Agency point of interest marker, which is right there. Setup, Congo Square. We're going to take one of our very fancy acrylic things because we got that version of it. We're going to put that here, Congo Square. That's a point of interest that we're going to be able to go to on the map. City Hall is ground zero for New Orleans politics, the victim's workplace. Let's see, maybe it's just not exactly enough room for everything I want to show, which is unfortunate. Then we have, it's your turn, John Robichaux. John Robichaux is going to refresh an effort die, so he's got 2 dice on his board. I just want to make sure I set this up correctly. Each player will choose one character, and solo, they must choose 2 characters. It does not state, so I think that I start with just 2 and 1. So I've refreshed an effort die. John Robichaux, and he's got a little thing here. John Robichaux took one look at the case file. Now, this is importante, okay? If you're playing this game multiple players, they say all over this rulebook, everything gets read out loud. There is no secret information. There's no, I'm going to skim this. Yeah, I read a file. No, you got to read everything out loud. That is how they want the game to be played. And if you don't want to do the character voice yourself, just have your friend do it. Pass it around. Okay, great. Jean Robichaux took one look at the case file that NOPD had sent over and nearly passed out. Boisseau had been strapped, spread-eagled to an old wooden cartwheel, and then his arms and his legs were broken. No. Broken was whitewashing it. His limbs had been broken in 36 places, and what remained of them was twisted in an unnatural, grotesque manner. This is one of those times where I wish they popped up a picture of that corpse because I'm a horror movie person and that would be fun for me. But it wasn't the violent photographs that made Robichaux's stomach twist into 1,000 knots. No. He'd seen plenty during his decade as a homicide detective to rival this. It was the startling similarities to Maria's murder. If you remember that was his wife from before. Almost 2 years earlier, his wife had been killed in the same horrifying manner. It was called breaking on the wheel, Robichaux now knew, an archaic manner of execution not seen since the 18th century. And now, a second killing in the same fashion had fallen right into his lap. We're going to put Robichaux's house on the board. That was a faux because I had seen plays of a of the prototype version of this, and I knew that his house was going to get set up. So that was me just being silly. This is the Robichaux's family house, which has been shut and empty for nearly 2 years. All right, so he's got stuff that he can do. So what I can do is I can either go to one of these locations, I can scan some items from my deck. There's this little thing here. This lets you turn the rotation of the board around. So if you're sitting on another side of the board, you can reorient which way is north. Do that, but I can scan some of the items I have. So I'm going to just go ahead and do that so that we can kind of see what this scanning thing does. So we're going to scan an item. Oh, shoot. Why is it? It's giving, okay, so it's I have to scan like that, so I don't have to keep this open on the bottom, which means I can. Money made the world go round, and New Orleans happened to be in that world. John could think of many, many ways to spend it, and none of them were wholesome. That's fine. Let's scan something else. So we're going to scan this. Walk softly and carry a big-ass crowbar. Wasn't that what Teddy Roosevelt always said? Either way, you never knew when a good solid piece of tempered steel would come in handy. So, I know in other playthroughs that I watched, everybody always went to his house, but we're not going to go to his house because he's here to solve a crime scene, and we're going to go try to solve that crime scene. So we're going to go to Congo Square. It's the scene of Boisseau's brutal murder. Do we want to visit it? Yes, we do. So we're going to flip that over to its explored side, press OK, and then it's going to tell us to set up. So we're going to take this card, which is Louis Armstrong Park, and you can see it. I've managed to put this in a nice little position. That's the entrance to Louis Armstrong Park. The park was a madhouse. Throngs of people gawked at the entrance, trying to see past the crime scene tape and catch a glimpse of the grisly display beyond. There's a police officer here. He seems to be frazzled, and he's standing over here. And this is why I'm using those tokens today, so that you can see the policeman. Right? The front of the crowd guarding the crime scene was a frazzled beat cop. The poor schmuck was in his early 20s, still wet behind the ears and trying to hold back the crowd like the levees before Hurricane Betsy. And honestly, he wasn't faring much better than the levees had. Also, there is a mysterious tall man. He's tall and mysterious. He's a mysterious tall man. At the back of the crowd, Robichaux noticed a man quietly staring at the spectacle, not moving or saying a word. Robichaux wouldn't have paid attention to him if not for the fact that he was a good foot taller than everyone else around. So he would tower over me because I'm short. I'm 5'5". Hot diggity darn. All right, that's it. So I can move. Oh, I moved myself here. Now I can move myself to one of these things. So can I go back to the main map? I can turn this. That lets me save the game. That lets me go back. That lets me, nope. Okay, so I must have already entered this area and therefore must be in this area. Now I was thinking I was going to find like a crime or something and then investigate the crime, and Winter was going to talk to people. I'm just going to go talk to the cop and see if my old cop friends are coming to me. I'm going to visit the police officer. Yes. Robichaux forced his way through the crowd and flashed his identification. I'm with the Beaumont Agency, and I need to get in to look at the crime scene. The cop barely glanced at the ID, frantically making sure no one forced their way past the tape. You and every other rubberneck here. Beat it, pal. I don't have time for your bullshit. Oh, I'm going to leave this here so we can see things until I have to do something different. Okay. The cop was busy managing the crowd and completely ignored Robichaux. I can either try to charm my way past the cop or get past the cop with magic. I'm not very good at magic, so we're going to go ahead and charm our way past the cop. So I have to see how many successes I get on a charm check. So I must roll these 2 dice, and I can also optionally choose to roll this die, the effort die, which I'm going to do because I want to get past the cop pretty quick. So what I've rolled here is I've rolled a 1 and a... Oh, you can kind of see I rolled a 1 and a 2 and an auto success. So I've rolled 3, which is not enough for a success there, but I did roll 1 auto success on the effort die, which is now exhausted, which means I got 1 success. Probably not going to be enough. The cop looked closer, and something like realization flickered across his face. I remember the captain saying something about you guys coming in for a consult. Hurry back before I change my mind. Ooh, luckily 1 success was enough, and it's very good that I added that extra die, as we can see. Because I roll poorly. Oh, we remove him from the board. Goodbye. Remove police officers. Well, he lasted real long. All right, we're putting another location onto the board, the site of the murder. Now, I don't know if these have to be left and right of each other, and I'm not going to put them left and right of each other. I'm just going to put them above each other so we can see it on the video. But this is the murder site, and that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted to be able to find the murder site. With the gawking crowd held back at the entrance, it was quieter here, but not by much. Police swarmed over the grounds like ants. Beat cops, plainclothes detectives, and forensic photographers. We've got Detective LeBlanc over here, next to the cop car. You can't see the murder in the picture, which kind of sucks, but hey. One detective in particular stood out. Apparently the king of this circus. He was almost certainly the lead detective on the case. And then we have the victim inside the tent that I wanted to see the actual corpse. At the center of the square lay Boisseau's body, his murdered body. So it's apparently still my turn because this will tell me when it's not my turn anymore. So I can go ahead and just start to look at that crime scene, which is what I want to do because I'm good at investigating. So we're just going to go straight to the victim. When Robichaud stepped up onto the stage, his knees almost gave out. This is how Maria had been found. This is what they did to her. It was almost too much for him to bear. He swallowed hard and steeled himself. Oh, we do get to see the corpse. So we're gonna move our little entry to the park down here, and we're gonna put the corpse on the board. All right, R-rated stuff here. This is the corpse. Dun da da dum. We're still at Louis Armstrong Park, looking at a corpse. An old cartwheel, the kind that would have borne wagons across the plains hundreds of years ago, was in the exact center of the stage. Boisseau was on it, spread-eagled, his hands and feet lashed to the wheel with some kind of white, fibrous material. His eyes were open, and his face was frozen in a rictus of agony. It wasn't difficult to see why. The man's arms and legs were bent and twisted like wet noodles. The bones had been pulverized to dust. He looked like a marionette at rest, his limp limbs just waiting for the jerk of a puppet master's hand to spring to life. There was blood everywhere. So we can investigate the body, and then you'll see here there's something that only Winter Mullins can do, because remember, Winter Mullins speaks to the dead. But we're going to investigate the body, because that's what we came here for. All right, so we're going to do an investigation roll. Now, the problem here is I already rolled my one effort die, so now I only get to roll my two main dice. And I roll, oh, look, I rolled a 6, which is very good rolling for me, but that still only qualifies as one success at this moment in time. So because I rolled one success, I can do one action on this investigation table. I can examine the hands, the head, the symbol, or the wheel. So his hands are splayed out and there's some string on them. His head is in a nasty position. There's a symbol on the ground and there's a wheel. I'm going to examine, no, I think I would need to know magic to examine that symbol. And I'm an investigator cop person. We're going to examine the head. Up close, and you can see it zooms on into it. Up close, Boisseau's face was even more horrifying. His eyes were scarlet from burst blood vessels, and Robichaud could barely see his pupils. His mouth was open in an eternal, unending scream that Robichaud could almost hear in his head. Looking closer, he saw something lodged deep in Boisseau's throat, so I did find something. That's nice. Oh, it just says there was something lodged there, but it doesn't let me get it. I'm not Winter Mullins, so I can't do anything there. I can't go back. I have to click End Turn. End Turn, yes. So now it is Winter Mullins' turn. And first, Winter is going to refresh an effort die. God damn it, not today, Mullins muttered when he got Romero's page. His head felt like a watermelon dropped into a meat grinder. His fault entirely, as the previous night he'd been at the Napoleon House drinking himself into oblivion, as he often did on Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and so on. At least he wasn't being harassed by any goddamn ghosts, which was the only positive thing he could say about the pounding between his ears. Shit, maybe some fresh air will do me a bit of good. Mullins laughed. Oh, who was he kidding? The only cure for a hangover this epic was a fifth of golden brown. But he'd worry about that later. Off to the agency first. So he obviously is like being tinged to go to the agency, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go to Congo Square and talk to that tall man. So we're going to visit Congo Square, and then we're going to go talk to the tall man, because I have a silver tongue. Is it the tall man? Yes. Mullins approached the tall man casually. What's this city coming to, am I right? The man looked down at Mullins as if acknowledging a gnat, and then returned his gaze to the spectacle. Dark days are upon us, he said. Oh, wait. Dark days are upon us, he said in the deepest bass voice that Mullins had ever heard. I am not a bass, I am a tenor, so I did the best I could, and that's the best I could. The man was, quite frankly, terrifying, and he would not be easy to intimidate. Here is the man. Okay. Question the man, which is a silver tongue test, which I get one automatic success in. I am not going to roll my effort dice because I already get an automatic success. So why should I? I should have, because I rolled a 3, which would have been 0 successes, but I managed to get 1 because of my silver tongue. The man barely acknowledged Mullins, but didn't tell him to get lost either. I have one question. I can either ask him about an item, which is what this little scanny thing here means, but I don't think I'm going to offer him rum or money. Who are you and why are you interested in Boisseau's murder? I can ask him. Or I can ask him how the hell he got so tall. I mean, I'm going to ask him. No, I'm going to ask him how the hell he got so tall. The man smiled briefly, the first display of emotion Mullins had seen, and then looked him in the eyes. By the grace of the Almighty, little one, I am tall because Elohim wanted me to be tall. I'm going to coax him, which means I'm going to gently try to get more information out of him. We are all what we are by the grace of the Lord. I sense a divine curiosity in you. Perhaps in another life you would have made a good member of Cazador. Mullins has uncovered a new lead, a mysterious organization known as Cazador Inc. And Mullins also gets 1 experience point for his efforts. So he's got an experience point which he'll be able to spend later to increase his skills or get more abilities. The man barely acknowledged Mullins, but didn't tell him to get lost either. That's the end of Mullins' turn. We click end turn. Yes. It is now Jean Robichaud's turn, and he gets to refresh a die. I can keep examining this body, I think. I'm pretty sure. Yes, I can keep examining the body, so I am going to do that. I'm going to investigate the body something. And I'm going to roll my effort die and try to get as much investigation as I can out of this. I have rolled 4 and a star, and the star is going to add 1 because I rolled 1 effort die. So that gives me a total of 5, which is only 1 success. So as we can see, getting successes in this game is not the easiest nut to crack. At least not for me. Oh, and this is when I can retrieve the object from Boisseau's mouth. So that was wise. And see, I have this new option there. I'm going to try to retrieve that. Now, I probably should have saved that effort die for this, because I'm going to need another success. And I didn't have any effort dice this time. So, but we rolled a 7, which is actually 2 successes for Robichaud. So that's good. Robichaud pulled out a pair of tweezers and quickly glanced around the crime scene to check that no one was watching. When he was sure the coast was clear, he reached in deftly with his tweezers and removed a small, tightly rolled parchment. Take story card number 1 from the story deck and place it in the Beaumont inventory. So this is the inventory for everyone, meaning anyone can use this card at any time. It's not their own inventory. He also gets 1 experience. Oh, I forgot to scan the rum when I was Winter Mullins before, but I'll remember next time. That's all I could do with this turn, but I'll take it. I mean, that was fine for me. End turn, yes. Winter Mullins now has 2 effort dice ready to roll because he was able to refresh 1. And, he has some story text before anything else. So that just popped up. Fortunately, the fog in Mullins' head was clearing out, and the pounding was more of a dull throb. Unfortunately, instead of bringing back his much-needed focus, sobering up brought some shit with it that Mullins would have just as soon forgotten. The previous night was still blurry, but one overriding memory cut through the haze. When Mullins had left in his weathered Cortina to make the short drive home, he'd hit something on Orleans Avenue just north of Louis Armstrong Park. There had been a thump. Was it the curb? A pothole? A stray fucking dog? But it had barely registered at the time, and he had kept driving. Shit, was all Mullins could say, the thump ringing in his ears like it had happened moments ago. Better see what's what then. Against his better judgment, he decided to investigate. Working on the case would be hard enough without this hanging over him like a shroud, but on the bright side, at least it wasn't far from Congo Square. So we're adding Orleans Avenue over here. And we're putting this marker on it, which indicates that only Winter Mullins can go to that area. Okay, this time we're going to remember to scan the rum. Having a bottle at hand calmed Mullins, but also constantly tempted him. Still, he controlled himself enough to resist drinking the whole thing while on the case, which would be out of the question. But he did take a sip. I wonder if he says something different about money than the other person? Nope, same thing. All right, so he's going to abandon talking to the old guy because no, you know what? I'm going to keep talking to I'm going to keep talking to the tall man. Now, how do I leave this area if I wanted to? So I think once I go into a mini location, I don't have any choice but to stay there for the turn, as far as I can tell. But we are going to talk to the tall man again. We're going to question him. We're going to do a regular roll again because I'm not interested. I want to save those effort dice this time. I got a 5. So that's actually 2 successes because it's 1 for his skill of 5 and 1 for his free thing from questioning. So that's 2. So I can have 2 questions for him. So first, I can ask him about Cazador Inc. You'll see there's a new lead here because I uncovered it by talking to him. We are all that stand between the Diabolos and the good people of this city. We are the bulwark between New Orleans and Dark Orleans. We're going to coax again. We do not usually associate with your kind, but these killings are too momentous for us to draw partisan lines. You will find the offices of Cazador Inc. at the Cabildo, and there you may find answers. Mullins knew the building, but didn't know who called it home. I've gotten another experience point. And I have discovered the Cabildo, which is another point of interest in New Orleans. And you can see on the map, it tells you where to put the thing there. Okay. I still have 1 question remaining because I did the thing. Oh, there's this note that we found on the corpse, Le Sang de Sauvignon. Should we ask him about that even though we haven't scanned the note? I think we should. We're going to ask him what he makes of this note. So, oops. Yep. The blood remembers, he frowned. I don't recognize this curse or whatever those words might be, but it reeks of dark magic. Okay, well now I have to end my turn, so that's the end of my turn. Jean Robichaux gets to refresh an effort die. Robichaux knew that first he should head to his old house, but as often in his life, work came first. Or maybe I'm just a fucking coward, he thought, unable to set foot back there. Yeah, I'm still not going to the house. I'm going to keep investigating the corpse. So, what I want to do first is I want to just scan the note on my own, which I didn't do before. The blood remembers. Robichaux's French was rusty, but the meaning was clear. Okay, well, what's that? Okay, so we're gonna keep exploring this corpse. We're gonna investigate the body. We're going to investigate the body. We're just going to use a normal roll this time and start earning some more of those dice up. I rolled a 5, luckily, so I got 1 success again. And I can either examine the hands, the symbol, or the wheel. I'm going to examine the hands. I'm a forensic detective person. Oh, look, this has sunk so much further already. Okay, examine the hands. Rigor mortis had set in, and Boisseau's hand was frozen in the shape of a claw. Robichaux looked closer at the fibers binding the body to the wheel. He wasn't a rope expert by any means, but they were made of a material he'd never seen before. That's all he got. Okay, well, end of his turn. Winter Mullins now has 3 effort dice. Now that he's got all the effort dice, now it's going to be time for him to go find the whatever he ran over before, because we know he did. Orleans Avenue, yes. We're flipping it over. What happened to Mullins on Orleans Avenue? Okay, so we're drawing another item, another location from the deck. So this map is actually going to get pretty big, it seems, because these things don't go away. So here is Orleans Avenue. We're just going to put this here for now because nothing's appeared on that map so far. A broken lamppost lay next to the sidewalk, the bulb flickering on and off. So hopefully all I did was hit that thing there. I think it's bad. On a park bench further down lay one of the city's omnipresent bums snoring beneath a newspaper. I don't want to wake that dude up yet. We're just going to go check out the broken lamppost first. Visit it, yes. The pole had been sheared clean through, but a few of its wires remained connected, intermittently feeding electricity to the abused lamp. We can examine the lamp and the area around it more closely. I'm going to use two of my effort dice this time. I'm going to hopefully get a 9 or above. So we got 2 stars, which are 0 in this case, and 4. So that is 0 successes, and I used both of my dice. I can see my dice luck has followed me deeply into this game. 0 successes. Yep. There were blue flecks of paint near the lamppost. Blue paint the same color as the dumpy Cortina that Mullins drove around. He was sure if he examined the car, he'd find a fresh gash in its paint job. I get to improve my green, so I get to take my rightmost green skill and move it 1 to the left. So at least I got something. Beyond the lamppost, by the light of its flickering bulb, Mullins found a dark patch on the sidewalk. Dried blood. Recently dried blood. Oh no. Nothing else stood out immediately, but Mullins could feel in his bones there was more to discover here. Your turn ends. Jean Robichaux gets to refresh a die. I want to finish examining this corpse, because that's what I do. So we're going to visit that victim again. We're going to investigate the body. We want 2 successes this time, so I'm going to use one of my effort dice. And we rolled 8, so that's the 2 successes I needed. So I'm going to do 2 things. Oh, I can retrieve the rope fiber and examine something else. Let me first examine the wheel. The wheel, where it wasn't stained with Boso's blood, looked old and weather-worn. To Robichaux's eye, it looked authentic. He didn't think it had been recently made. Okay, and then I'm going to try to retrieve a sample of the rope fiber. I'm going to use my other effort die for this because I don't want to fail. I got 4 and a star, and because of my driven by grief, I add 1 to that, which gives me a total of 5. So I've rolled, that's 1 success. Robichaux pulled out a pair of tweezers and quickly glanced around the crime scene to check no one was watching. He quickly snagged a strand of rope and stood up. A furtive look at the forensics team, and he knew his actions had gone unnoticed. We're going to take number 4, the strand of rope story card, and place it in the Beaumont inventory. So that's a strand of rope, and we all have access to the strand of rope. Here. And he's going to gain 1 experience. So they've each got 2 experience now, which is nice. I think for the record, from what I'm experiencing so far, you could very handily forehand this game, but you would need some more space, because this has already taken up more space than I expected it to. That's it for me. I have to end the turn, yes. Back to Winter, who gets to refresh a die. Oh! There's a vampire that joined the crowd out of nowhere. A casket girl. So, apparently, there is a timer of sorts. The crowd and the smell of blood had attracted the attention of a casket girl. The bloodsucker would be looking for an easy kill, and a large crowd of blinkers was the perfect opportunity. Well, I mean, I have to stick around at Orleans Avenue and keep investigating this lamppost thing. I don't think I can go after her right now. Now I wonder if she would come out earlier if there were 3 or 4 players versus when she came out now with 2 players. So that's also something to think about in general. But we're going to visit that lamppost again. And we're going to try to examine that more closely. So I'm going to go ahead and roll both effort dice this time because I need to succeed. And that time I got a massive roll of 10, which is actually 3 successes. In the corner of the bloodstain was a distinct shape. The blood had pooled and congealed around an object that was removed later, leaving a cross-shaped space on the sidewalk. Gain another experience. Someone had taken whatever had been lying in the blood. Mullins glanced over at the bum, snoring on the bench. Dollars to donuts, that stinky human refuse knew about the missing object. Mullins doubled over, his breath coming in ragged gasps. Give me a second. Even a shitty detective could piece together what had happened here. A car had jumped the curb high, plowed through the lamppost, and then splattered someone across the sidewalk. Given the amount of blood still on the pavement, whoever had been hit had almost certainly died. The fact that there was no body and no report of a hit and run on Orleans Avenue, Mullins had already checked with his source at the NOPD, was a curious detail that baffled Mullins. Winter Mullins is about to face a timed decision. Oh my god, this is our first pressure cooker. You will only have 30 seconds to make this choice. Choose, or else Mullins' fate will be decided for you. Oh my goodness gracious. Let's see how fast I can do this with the camera and all that stuff. I'm ready. The overwhelming evidence said that he had killed someone last night and driven away, his booze-drenched mind blocking out the memory. His alcoholism had finally caught up with him and he was filled with remorse. All the evidence was circumstantial and he was damned if he was going to beat himself up over an imagined crime. My alcoholism has caught up with me. Whew! He knew he'd have to answer for what he'd done, whatever it was. But he was ready to pay the piper, no matter how much that sadistic motherfucker demanded. This choice will be remembered, and it will have future consequences for Mullins. Gain a experience point. Now, apparently, there's points in the story where you don't get to make a choice. Whatever choices you made before will influence your fate. Much like the butterfly effect in Until Dawn in the Dark Pictures anthology in The Quarry. So this is kind of like the closest board game I've experienced to that video game experience so far. But anyway. The lamppost has been removed. It is no longer a point of interest. My turn is not yet over, which means I can still go talk to this bum. Oh, I said okay. Oh, nope, I'm wrong. It just said my turn ends. Oh, it's intermission. So apparently at certain points during the story, there will be an intermission when things happen. So the first thing that happens is we divide experience. Oh, do we not get individual experience? I might have screwed that up. Divide experience. Oh, so all of the characters should get the same amount of experience. So we're going to do this, and they each have 3 in that case. We get to draw new abilities if it's the first intermission of this scenario. So this is the first intermission of scenario 1. So we're going to get to draw some new abilities for Jean Robichaud. So Jean Robichaud's new abilities are Cool Under Pressure. In all tests, if you roll at least 2 1s, add 3 to the result. Intimidating Interrogator. In charisma questioning tests, you can reroll any number of dice once. And Lead Investigator, it's cooperative. In all tests, all results on the effort dice that you land and receive add 1 to the total. So those are those 3 things that we have there. And we're going to put those back into our potential abilities pile. And then the other guy gets 2 new skills. Oh, so here's where it goes down. We have Quick Thinking. In all tests, each star adds X to the roll total, where X is the lowest numerical result rolled in that test. If no numerical results were rolled, that does not trigger. And Liquid Courage, you may gain a rum card when you unlock this ability at the start of each scenario and during intermissions by paying 1 thing or thing. I don't think I want to do that. Okay, so we can now upgrade. So what this means is we can each spend 3 experience points. So one of the things that we can do is we can move one of our skill dice to the left in either the 4th area or the 3rd area. I think we can also add a 4th cube. Just want to make sure that's true. That'd be occupied. Still improvement. Yeah, we can place a new cube into slot 12, but I don't think there's any reason why we'd want to do that. So for Jean Robichaux, let's see. He's very good at combat. He's been doing okay in investigation. He's not great at charisma, but Winter Mullins is great at charisma. Magic is just not good for him at all. I'm going to move one of his magic dice just in case we have to do a magic check. His magic cubes, just in case we have to do a magic check at some point, so we start to get some progress on that. And then Winter Mullins can spend 3. I think I thought I wanted one of his things. Yeah, I'm gonna take that one quick thinking. In all tests, each star adds X to the total roll, where X is the lowest numerical result. Now, whenever I get an ability, I also have to permanently remove one of these ability cards from the game. I'm going to remove Gambling Man because I'm never going to use that. That's not a me thing. Okay, now I can save and exit or continue. I'm going to continue. I'm giving myself another hour or so to play this today, so we're going to continue for now. It is now Robichaux's turn. It is turn 5. So I have to remember, does intermission come after turn 4? Or does intermission come after something else? I don't know. After turn 4 for everybody, or will it come earlier is the thing I was trying to think of. Okay, so first we're going to refresh an effort die. I don't think I'm going to scan this strand of rope, because why not? The strand of rope used to tie Boisseau to the cart's wheel was made of a fibrous material that John didn't immediately recognize. It didn't seem like a normal piece of rope, but he also wasn't a rope expert. Someone else might know where it came from. So he's going to stick around here still. Oh, you know what? I should probably intercept this Wampir, because I am the combat person. What do you think? Yeah? Oh, I could have discarded my money to add a experience to my personal inventory during intermission. Let's just say I did that with Robichaux, and instead of moving this 10 to 9, I moved this 7 over to 6. Because I'm learning. We're learning. Okay. Do I want him to talk to the detective, or to stop the vampire, or to go to his house? I think he's going to go deal with this vampire before she starts eating people. The casket girl offered Robichaux a coy smile as he approached her. Hey, sugar, what you looking at? She waited for Robichaux to respond. So this is not a test. I'm choosing one of these options, which will lead to something else. I can either say, you're not welcome here, piss back off to the convent, or do you know what happened here? I'm going to say, you're not welcome here, piss back off to the convent. Insolent little shit! The girl's eyes turned red, and Robichaux could have sworn her fangs and claws grew longer. He prepared to fend off the sister's incoming attack. I can either fight the casket girl or get rid of her with the cart or a cane. And it tells me which skill test is going to happen. We're obviously going to fight her. This is already so many more branching narratives than I would have expected it to be based on what I knew so far, so this is exciting. All right, so we're fighting the casket girl. We're definitely going to use a 3rd die because we don't want to die. So this is like the best roll I've had so far. I rolled an 11, which is actually 3 successes in this circumstance. So 1, 2, 3. I'm pretty sure we're going to have chased her off with that. Robichaux exchanged several blows with the vampire, finally landing one on her lovely chin. The hit snapped the bloodsucker's head back and quickly returned her to reality. We get to improve a red, so we're going to improve that red. The crowd, startled by the violent outburst, turned their attention to the casket girl, who immediately donned her normal appearance and left in a hurry. The coward. So we've gotten rid of the casket girl. Dun, 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 dun. Ooh, ooh. Okay. As Robichaux calmed himself, a heavy hand fell on his shoulder. It was the tall man, who then, without a word, walked off in the same direction the casket girl had gone. Oh no, the tall man has left. I wanted to talk to him more, but oh well. Your turn ends. All right, on to Winter's turn, who gets to refresh a die. Winter is going to continue to stick around Orleans Avenue and deal with this bum. We're going to question the bum, and we're going to get a free success because of our silver tongue. So we're not going to use our effort die. We're just going to use our main dice. We have rolled a 3 and a blank. In all tests, each blank adds X to the roll total, where X is the lowest numerical result rolled in that test. So that means that 0 became a 3, which gives me a total of 6, which makes that one success. That is a really good one. I'm glad I got that. I got 2 successes because I get my auto success too. The bum looked pretty miserable and very drunk, but perhaps there was something to be learned from him. We're going to ask him about the lead we found, which is what can you tell me about the pool of blood? I don't know, it's a pool of blood. What's there to know? I see pools of blood all the time, If I ain't lucky, it could be my pool of blood, but that's not my pool of blood, The bum pulled his threadbare coat tighter as he said this, as if he was trying to hide something. We're going to intimidate him. Man, leave me alone, those shells ain't nothing. And I say, what do you mean you didn't take? Nobody mentioned taking anything. Oh, shit. Mullen shoved the bum back onto the bench and violently frisked him. He tried to fight back, but in his state, he couldn't have fought off a pack of kindergartners, or even one kindergartner. Mullins pulled a small crucifix out of the bum's coat. It was speckled with blood. The bum looked sheepishly at Mullins. Hey, finders keepers, am I right? Whatever remains probably not worth nothing anyway. We're going to take number 7, the crucifix card from the story deck, and place it in our character's inventory. So we now have a crucifix, which is a story card. Here's a crucifix. Crucifix! Let me put it in percentage. Bum has been removed from the board. I think at this point in time, I've already elected that when I play this with my group, I'm going to say we're going to play all 4 characters. We're each going to pick one and then choose one to control as a team because I kind of don't want to miss any of this. Like, I'm really, this is getting 2 thumbs up for me so far. I'm digging it. Remove tile 16. Goodbye, tile 16. You are not in the game anymore. Doobie-doobie-doo-wop. Avenue. Remove the thing. Oh, that location's gone. My turn ends. Jean Robichaux gets to refresh an effort die. He chased everyone away. There's still the cop to talk to. There's still one more thing on the victim to look at. But I think that Mullen should come back there and talk to the corpse. So I think it is time for Jean Robichaux to go to his house. Go visit his house. It's sealed shut and it's been empty for nearly 2 years. I'll flip it over. I'm going to take tile number 12. Ba-dum-ba-bum. Tile number 12. Tile number 12. Tile number 12. There was still crime scene tape across the front door. Robichaux hadn't stepped foot inside for over a year, living out of a cheap motel close to the agency. There's a photo in the living room, and the couple in this photo look happy. Dust coated everything, including a picture of John and Maria Robichaux in the policeman's ball in '79. Only Robichaux can look at this picture. So other people can go to Robichaux's house, but there's certain things only Robichaux can do in Robichaux's house. There's the master bedroom, which is over here. And there's like, it's like a dirty room. The door off the hallway led to their bedroom where Maria's things would be. That is also something only Robichaux can do. There's a back door. Door that leads out back. Through the screen door that led to the backyard, Robichaux could just make out the outline of a tool shed. He nearly vomited. He did not want to be here. All right. Let's just go through the house as one normally would, and we'll take a look at the photo first. Jean Robichaux is about to face a time decision. You will have only 30 seconds to make this choice. I just want to test something out here, which is no. Okay, so you don't have a way to do the settings when you're choosing to do this. So what we're gonna have to do in our game, I think, is we might have to swap between turns, I guess, with the time thing. Anyway, I'm ready. Robichaux picked up the photo, was flooded with emotion. Maria, his friend, his love, his world. In that moment, he vowed he would find whoever had done this to her and kill the motherfucker no matter what, or her killer was out there and he would stop this scum, but Maria was gone and nothing to bring her back. I'm gonna be vengeful. Robichaux could feel rage building in his gut. Whoever had brutalized her would have the same pain visited upon them tenfold. They would die in agony, paying for what they'd done with every goddamn pound of their flesh. This choice will be remembered and have future consequences. Oh, I spent all this experience points, so we're going to gain 1 experience. We remove the photo. I don't know why it doesn't just tell us to remove both those things at once. Whatever, my turn ends. Okay, Winter Mullins gets to refresh a die. He gets to scan this crucifix as well. Mullins turned the crucifix over in his hand. Did this belong to the person he had killed? No, fuck that. The person I may have killed, he said out loud. Regardless, this was the key to understanding what had happened that night. Okay, so now we're going to go talk to the corpse. We're going to have a drink and talk to the victim's ghost. Here we go. Oh, so you can, this is, okay, so this is why it would have been important to get that skill that would have let me get more rum. Because we can only talk to the ghost when we scan a drink. So I have to scan this. Here we go, muttered Mullins before taking a swig. The familiar burning sensation followed. Now, wait just a moment. I have to discard that card. So my rum is gone. So I cannot talk to any more corpses this turn. Interesting. He didn't have to wait long. Unearthly screams that he knew only he could hear were not what his headache needed. But, well, it clearly wasn't his day anyway. Boisseau's screaming ghost manifested above the mangled body, like a wisp of mist attempting to look like a human. And oh, how it screamed. That's the problem with the newly dead, Mullins thought, as the hangover did its best to make his head explode. They tend to be stuck reliving their deaths for a while. This guy here had a particularly shitty death. But soon, just as the apparition began to fade again, Mullins realized he recognized some repeating words in the mostly inarticulate shriek. Among them, Laveau. Well, that's interesting. Oh my god, it's going to be Marie Laveau! We get another experience. Mullins has uncovered a new lead. There was a connection between the case and the Laveau Corporation, and while Mullins didn't yet know what the connection was, he had little doubt that it would prove significant. Gain another XP. Oh, and now we get to add the Laveau Core building to the board, which is up. It's up here by the park, under where the house is, but due to space, that's where it is. I can still investigate the body instead of just ending my turn, so I might as well. I'm just going to roll 2 regular dice. I rolled a star and a 4, which means this is now an 8. Amazing. That card is so good, but now I regret not having the extra rum. So it's an interesting conundrum. 1 success. So we do get to examine the symbol. Written in Boisseau's blood was a series of symbols and lines that looked, at least to Mullins, like hieroglyphs. The bottom half of the symbols was smudged, however. Pulling out his notebook, Mullins quickly sketched the portion of the symbol so he could make out clearly. We're going to take 2, the partial symbol card. and place it in the Beaumont inventory. Then we're going to get another experience. Mullins looked down at Boisseau's ruined corpse. He felt confident there was nothing else for the dead man to tell him. So we remove the corpse from the board. That has nothing else to offer us. We remove this token from the board, has nothing else to offer us. My turn ends. Okay, it's John Robichaux's turn, turn 7. We're still gathering some cards there, so we're going to wait before we go to that back door. We're going to go into into Maria's room in the house. Robichaux looked around the bedroom, the heart of their home. A fine blanket of dust lay over everything. Nothing had been touched. He could feel Maria's absence so keenly that it was almost more than he could bear. More beer? What for? Nothing helps. What is that from? It's from a musical, but whatever. Judging by the layer of dust, nothing had been touched in the bedroom for a very long time. I can either investigate the room or detect the arcane. I'm terrible at arcane, so I'm going to investigate the room. I'm going to roll one of my effort dice. I want to save the other one for going out back later. I rolled a 5, which is enough for 1 success on investigation. That's 5. On the desk was an old jar stuffed with forgotten money. Maria's rainy day fund. Robichaux pocketed what was there, trying not to imagine what Maria had planned to spend it on and failing miserably. We get another money, so that's good because he spent money before. My turn ends. Winter Mullins now has 3 refreshed dice. Mullins was considering where to investigate next when the hairs on the back of his neck went up and his danger sense kicked in. Uh-oh. Mullins spun around and braced for an attack. I just have to do an attack roll. Period. That's all that's happening. So, I'm gonna use 2 effort dice for this. We have rolled 7 plus 3. We have rolled 13. Well, that was not necessary, which is kind of like the kind of luck I get. I get the luck when I don't need the luck. 3 successes. Mullins' quick reflexes allowed him to narrowly dodge a low sucker punch that would have laid him flat from this hot and spicy dude. The assailant was a young, stocky man. This is not a stocky man. This is a built-ass man. Okay. In a red leather jacket. He grinned at Mullins and backed up, raising his hands as if he meant no harm, which was clearly bullshit. No hard feelings, Beaumont. I'm here to have a chat. The man eyed Mullins warily, waiting to see how he would respond to his hospitality. I can either ask him what he wants, fight the man, or use the arcane against him. I'm just going to ask him what he wants and try to save my effort dice here. Glad we could talk like civilized people. Now I'm going to need you to listen real good. I heard you've been sniffing around the Laveau Corporation. I'm here to let you know in the clearest possible terms that it would be greatly appreciated if you would direct your attention elsewhere. By all means, do your thing, but do it away from the corporation. Capiche? I can say either, go fuck an elephant, dickhead. Your point's been made, we'll back off. Or what's in it for me? I like the word elephant, so I'm going to say go fuck an elephant, dickhead. The man cracked his knuckles. So we're doing it the hard way then. Can't say I'm disappointed. The thug raised fists above the size of small boulders and waited for Mullins to make the first move. I can either fight him or use the arcane. I'm going to use the arcane because that's a slightly better skill for me at this moment in time, and I'm going to use my last effort die. 4, 6, I scored 8, which is 2 successes in arcane for me. That's nice. The man rushed forward as fast as a snake, but Mullins' spell was faster. It picked the man up off the ground and flung him backwards like a child's toy. The crunch when he hit the ground was very, very satisfying. We get to improve our arcane skill. Relax, man, I'm just the messenger. Wise up and you'll see Laveau isn't worth your time. They want to get the sick motherfucker doing this just like you do. Offer still stands. Take the money, leave Laveau alone, and we'll all be as happy as clams. I can either say deal, or I can say, did I stutter before? Let's try this again. Fuck you. I'm going to use that second one. The man begins laughing and kept on until he choked on his own blood. You're going to regret this, Beaumont. Tell your boss we'll be by for a chat. Mullins walks away, leaving the man lying in his own blood. Your turn ends. I didn't get to do nothing. But that's okay. We're going to refresh another item. Roboshow's turn. We're still in Roboshow's house. There's still more to find in the bedroom here, it seems. So we're going to keep investigating that. We're going to investigate the room some more. I'm going to use one effort die. We have rolled 6 and a star. So that star is going to add 1. So that's a total of 7. That is 2 successes. And under the pillow was a black pendant. One of Maria's gree-grees. Oh, so Maria's in part of Laveau's thing stuff. Okay. Robichaux had forgotten all about it. Perhaps she was watching out for him out after all. We can take the number 6 black pendant card and store it in our... That's not it. It says story card. Oh, it's a consumable, not a story card. Story card number... It's consumable number 6. Which is a black pendant. I can discard it in any test to add 2 successes. That'll be useful. And we're going ahead and removing this stuff from the board now. Robichaux looked in the jar again, but had already taken the money. There was nothing left in it but dust and despair. I get to refresh another die. My turn ends. Winter Mullins gets to refresh an effort die. He's got nothing else to look at. So he can either go to the Robichaux house, he can go talk to the detective in Congo Square, check out the Cabildo where the tall man was, or, he's going to go to the Laveau court building after all of that, like, rah, 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 rah-dee-dar. But first, I want to see what I can make of this partial symbol. The symbol found next to Boisseau's body, hastily scrawled on a piece of notebook paper, was incomplete. Clearly, it held great meaning for whoever had exacted such stunning violence upon Boisseau, but the meaning would remain unclear until the other portion was found. All right, well, let's go to the Laveau Court building. It's the most powerful organization in all of New Orleans. Oh, we can move our house over here now because we got rid of the corpse. All right, this is something we are exploring. The Laveau Corporation headquarters dominated the New Orleans skyline. Made of obsidian glass and black steel, it loomed over the landscape like a dark monolith. This is card number 4, the Laveau Corporation lobby. Ah. Guess we don't get no Angela Bassett. The lobby of the Laveau Corporation was Spartan and cold. This is Todd. The receptionist. Behind a mammoth reception desk sat a small man. His name tag helpfully identified him as Todd. There's also the portrait of Marie Laveau. Covering the back wall was a massive portrait of a black woman in a red shawl, her hair tightly wrapped in a yellow turban. Well, let's go talk to that receptionist. I'm going to visit Todd. Todd barely looked up as Mullins approached and flashed his credentials. With a voice like a weasel, Todd asked, "Do you have an appointment?" "I have some questions I'd like answered." "We at the Laveau Corporation are very busy, Mr." He paused and looked at the identification before pronouncing his name with a sneer. "Mullins, you'll need to make an appointment with the appropriate party." The look on Todd's face told Mullins he wasn't welcome. I can either charm my way past Todd, kick Todd's ass, or subdue Todd with the arcane. We're going to charm our way past Todd. Now, I don't get the extra success for Silver Tongue for this because it's not a questioning test. It's just a charisma test, so we're going to use this effort die. Rolled a 2, a 5, and a star. The star adds an additional 2 because of my quick thinking, so that is 4 plus 3 is 7, which is 2 successes. Within minutes, Mullins had Todd shrieking at a hilarious anecdote, completely disarming the receptionist. Wiping away tears of laughter, Todd said, "I think Miss Baton has an opening right now. Let me just buzz you up, sir." Todd is removed from the board. We have found our way past the gatekeeper, as we like to call receptionists. And now we get to add Charlotte Boiton's office, number 5. Oh. Okay. Where am I going to put this? We're going to put that back over there. We're going to put this over here. That's Charlotte's office over here. And there we have Charlotte Boiton, number 7. This is Charlotte Boiton. She's on the cover of the game, so she must be important. That's it. Let's go talk to her. On the frosted glass door was the name Charlotte Boiton. Inside was a spacious office with a breathtaking view of New Orleans. The lady of the hour, Charlotte Boiton herself, sat behind an enormous desk. She exuded power, class, and authority. Displeasure was written across every inch of her face. And whom should I thank for this unwelcome interruption? Charlotte Boiton was not happy to be interrupted. This was not a woman you play games with. I can question her, which will give me my automatic free success. So we're going to question Boiton. I got a 3, which is not a success, but I get 1 for my silver tongue. I can ask a bunch of things. I can ask her what she can tell me about something. I can ask, who are you? I can say, did Frank Boisseau work for Laveau Corporation? Why was he killed? One of your thugs threatened us, said that Beaumont should leave Laveau out of its investigation. Care to comment? But what I want to do is ask about this partial symbol, I think. Is that what I want to do? Yeah. Is this what you've come to waste my time with? Chicken scratches? I'm going to coax her. Baton smiled. Huh. This is a vase, the most basic of voodoo magic symbols used to summon a Loa. I expected that an esteemed member of the Beaumont Agency would at least know that much. Charlotte Baton was not happy to be interrupted. This was not a woman you played games with. I have to end my turn. Sean Robichaux, turn 9, refresh and effort die. Now I have 3 of them. So we're still in my house, and we're going to go to that back door. We remove it. And we place number 13, the backyard. So this is, I'm going to let that scroll off to the side because we've already explored everything there. The Robichaux's backyard garden, left unattended for so long, had gone wild. So we've got a shed. The tool shed stood alone in the yard, its grimy windows dark. Robichaux knew what was in there by heart, even though he had never set foot inside. He had pored over the crime scene photos obsessively. There is a pile of ashes over here. The earth was blackened. In the corner of the yard, there was a scorched patch of earth as if a fire had been lit. We're just going to go straight into the shed. We can either force it open or break in using an object. I don't want to lose my crowbar, so I'm just going to force it open, and I'm going to use one of my effort dies, just in case there's no other die this turn. So I got a 4, 5, 6, which is 1 success for me. The rusty padlock broke easily. It might have served to stop a raccoon from breaking in, but it was no match for John fucking Robichaux. Now we can investigate the shed, or we can search the shed using the arcane. We're going to investigate the shed, and we're going to use both of our effort tokens because we want to get a big old success on this. We got 4, 7, 10, plus 2 is 12. That's 3 successes, which is the best we can get. Something about the bloodstains in the floor looked odd. Robichaux quickly ran to the car, grabbed an ultraviolet light from the glove box, and returned to the shed. At first, the blood lit up in bright purple as expected, but when he moved a burlap sack of soil in the corner, he saw something underneath that forensics had missed. Pulling out his notebook, Robichaux sketched what he saw in the blood on the floor of the tool shed. We get to take storyboard number 6, the partial symbol. So this is the other half of the symbol, thus proving what we knew, that the deaths are related. Oh, and here is the symbol. And we gain an experience. Robichaud looked at both sketches and then placed one sheet over the other. The merged symbol, whatever it was, connected the murders of Marie Robichaud and Frank Boisseau to one another. We're going to discard both 2 and 6 and take 8 instead. 2 goes away, 6 goes away, and now we have the false symbol. And we get an experience. We remove the shed token. Oh, my turn is. It is intermission yet again. So we get to divide experience. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 experience again, so we're each going to get 3 again. We don't draw new abilities because this is not the first intermission of this scenario. We can now upgrade. John's everything else. Success counts. Double. Roll 2. No results on the. We're going to go ahead and give him cool under pressure and get rid of his charisma thing. Cool under pressure means in all tests, if you rolled at least 2 1s, you will add 3 to the roll total. That's going to help mitigate my poopy drama. And then, based on the fact that we got attacked before, we're going to use, we're going to discard Mullins' money to move this combat die into the better zone. And that's all of that. And then we can save and exit or continue. We're going to still continue. We got 30 minutes left. All right. Winter Mullins, turn 9. Refresh and effort die. I think we're going to keep talking. Ooh. Well, first, let's scan the full thing. The symbol is voodoo related, but the exact meaning of looted Mullins from now. Best to ask somebody well versed in this sort of thing, which is going to obviously be Charlotte Baton. We're going to question her again. We're just going to roll 2. 7. So that is 2 plus 1 for Silver Tongue. That is 3 successes. We're going to scan the full thing this time. What can you tell me about this? We're going to coax. She said the same thing as before, so nothing else new from that. Why was Frank killed? Deaths occur every day in New Orleans, my dear Winter. Even more deaths may occur in deaths occur every day in New Orleans, my dear Winter. Even more occur in Dark Orleans. A brief flash of fear crossed Baton's face, an unexpected emotion for someone of her status. Tragic, certainly, but nothing out of the ordinary. Coax? I can't help you, detective. Now, if you please, I am a busy woman. That was not a failure. We're going to say one of your thugs threatened us, said that Beaumont should leave Laveau out of a court investigation. Care to comment? I don't know what you're talking about. Her smile was openly mocking. We're going to intimidate. My goodwill, which I have very little of, has been completely used up. A fire burned in her eyes, giving Roland's pause. Anger boiled behind her eyes. This meeting is now over. A flash of blinding light, and Mullins felt himself being thrown backward by an unseen force. Oops. I have to defend myself fast with Arcane. We're going to use our other effort die for that. I got 4 and 1 automatic success. 4 was not enough, so that's just 1 success. Mullins managed to bark out a counterspell, but the blast still threw him through the glass door and into the hall. He caught breath as Baton looked at him respectfully. Impressive. Now get the hell out of my building before I really lose my patience. Charlotte Baton has been removed from the board. We have burnt our lead. So has her office. So has the portrait, which we can no longer look at. So has this, which we can no longer look at. So has the building, which we can no longer go to. We have been kicked out forever. Oops. Jean Robichaud's turn. He gets to refresh a die. Do we care about the ashes behind this house? Sure. Let's take a look at the ashes. We're still there. We might as well finish all that off. Visit the pile of ashes, yes. Robichaud looked closer at the corner of the yard. It was black and charred. The grass burned away, and in its place a pile of charcoal-like residue. It looked like an ordinary fire pit, but the kind many families would have in their backyards. But Robichaud knew otherwise because he never had a fire pit in his backyard. He knew it wasn't a fire pit because he never had a fire pit. I see. This is going to be an investigation test, of course. I'm not going to use my die on this. I got a 7, which is 2 successes. I didn't need the die. Robichaud pulled out a pen and dug through the black residue. There in the ash, he found something surprising. Blackened finger bones. We're going to take story card number 5, finger bones, and place it in the Beaumont inventory. Finger bones. And we get an experience. Great. We're removing that from the board. We're removing the backyard from the board. We're removing the house from the board. We're removing Robichaud's house from the board. Nothing else to find in Robichaud's house. Okay. My turn next. Mullins' turn. Mullins can refresh a die. So we still have the cop here. We still have the place where the tall man was here. We still have City Hall. And we still have the agency. Now, the agency I know is supposed to be like, go here if you don't know what to do next, basically. So we're not going to do that. It's Mullins' turn, who's our talker. So he's going to go, he's running back and forth to this park like a no-nonsense spoopy head. But we're going to go back to Congo Square, and we're going to talk to Detective LeBlanc, the man in charge of the scene. He's been standing there for like 15 hours. The detective looked up as Mullins approached him. You from Beaumont? Mullins nodded. I'm LeBlanc, and I'm the lead on this shit show. Just so we're crystal clear, I didn't want y'all here, but the call was made above my pay grade. Ask your questions, take a look-see, and get the hell out of my crime scene. He's very friendly. We're going to question him with our silver tongue. We got a 5. That's 1 success for that, and 1 for silver tongue is 2. Well, get on with it. LeBlanc had all of the charm of a 2x4. We can ask him what he makes of something, if he has any leads, who the tall man is watching from the crowd, or we can ask him directly about Cazador Link or directly about the Laveau Corporation. We're going to ask about the Laveau Corporation because that's been locked off. Laveau Corp, why do you want to know about them? They got nothing to do with this. He was sweating profusely. We're going to intimidate him. Keep your fucking voice down already. How do you know about me and Laveau? Never mind. I'll answer your questions, just for God's sake, be more discreet. I'll contact you later and you can ask about whatever the hell you want. Just wait to hear from me and get an experience. That was nice. Let's ask him what he makes of the strand of rope in case he can tell us where that comes from. Mullins thought about it for a second and realized that showing the lead detective evidence that had been removed from his crime scene might not be the wisest course of action. Oh, that was dumb of me. All right, end turn. Jean Robichaud gets to refresh an effort die. He's going to go to City Hall. I don't know why he's going to City Hall, but that's where he's going. City Hall. Duncan Plaza, homes at City Hall, carried the stink of New Orleans politics all over it. Corruption wafted amongst the concrete and glass like mange from a stray mutt. It made Robichaud's skin crawl. He walked through the glass doors and approached the receptionist. Receptionists everywhere. She looks like gosh, what is it? I can't place it, but she looks like something that I recognize from a TV show. According to the receptionist, the mayor was indisposed and wouldn't be back anytime soon. Robichaud could read between the lines. For him, the mayor would never be back. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have, the receptionist chirped in a patronizing tone. Beggars can't be choosers, he thought to himself. Oh, it just says remove City Hall. Oh, it's only her that's there now. She gets replaced with this. So let me see. The victim's workplace. She looked like she'd been sucking on a lemon for the last decade. Can I help you? We're going to use one effort die for this. We got a 4, a 1, and a star, and the star will be 1, so that brings us up to 6, which is 1 success. My questions that I can ask her are, if she can tell me anything about a thing, what did Boisseau do for the mayor? When was he last seen? Did he have any enemies? And what can you tell me about the Laveau Corporation? I'm going to ask what he did for the mayor. Mr. Boisseau is the deputy mayor. He helped Mayor Dutch achieve his agenda. The mayor couldn't have done much without Mr. Boisseau on his side. The receptionist grinned with all the warmth of a dead fish. Folks. I'm not sure what else I can share with you. Now, please shoo and leave me to my work. She was done answering Robichaud's questions, at least for the moment. I can refresh one of my dice. I turn it. Zach Mullins, Winter Mullins. Zach Mullins is a person from my job. So every time I see the name Mullins, I keep thinking of Zach, who I work with, not Winter, who's in the game. Zach Mullins is not an alcoholic who speaks to the dead. I just want to make that very clear. Okay. I forgot to scan these finger bones before, because this seems to be something I keep forgetting to do. The bones were from a human hand. An index finger, by the look of it, what it had been doing in the backyard of Robichaud's remained to be seen. We're going to keep talking to Detective LeBlanc. And question LeBlanc again. We're just going to use our regular dice. We have rolled a 4 and a 4, which is an 8. That's 2 successes plus 1 success for Silver Tongue. That's 3. So I get to ask him a whole bunch of questions now. Maybe I should not show him some of these things. I am just going to ask what he can tell me about Cazador Inc. The most dangerous assholes are the ones with a divine mandate. I keep as far from those Zealots as I can. I'm going to coax. Listen, if you really want to take your chances, you can go drop in at the Cabildo and see what Cazador is all about. But don't say I didn't warn you. Do you have any leads? Just because someone more brass on the lapel than me wants you here doesn't mean you get my cliff notes on the case. I'm going to coax. Jesus, you Beaumont types can't get a clue, can you? We ain't singing Kumbaya here. You on your own. There's a tall man watching from the crowd. By tall, I mean freakishly tall. That's Domingo. Likes to lurk whenever a body drops, but he stays out of the way. We're going to coax. Word on the street is he's got tied to that cult of zealots. What are they called again? Oh, yeah, Cazador Inc. Well, get on with it. No, that's... I don't want to end my turn. Well, I guess I have to. Okay. Robichaud, fresh as a die. We will keep trying to talk to this city hall person. We're going to use one die because I have it to spare. I got a 1, a 1, and a 2, but when I get 2 ones, I add 3. So that's 2 plus 2 is 4 plus 3 is 7. That's 1 success. Oh, I said the wrong thing before when I was talking. I think I tried to intimidate her. Did I try to intimidate her? I don't remember. Nope. So I have to remember next time that I need to intimidate her. Oops. I don't think there's anything more to get from the cops, so I'm gonna go to the Calabadillo. The Cabadillo sat in the shadow of St. Louis Cathedral, dwarfed by it in all respects. Mullins ignored the main door, which led to the museum, and approached a small, seemingly insignificant side door. This was the real entrance to the Cabildo. Like most things in Dark Orleans, the less significant they appeared, the more important they were. Oh, I've removed it. And now there's number 14, the Cabildo. It's this verse. Oh, only Mullins can go there. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing I was there because only I can go there. The man who answered the door was the most beautiful creature Mullins had ever seen. I did not know Mullins was gay, but now I do. I have some questions. The man raised his eyebrow curiously, but didn't say anything. For once, Mullins was at a loss for words. Your name, what's your name? A wide, beautiful smile broke out across the man's face, and Mullins knew he was well and truly fucked. That's your question? My name? Yep. The man laughed. It's Francisco, although you can call me Frank. Hi, Frank. dot, 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 dot. And what do people call you? Oh, Minter. I mean Winter Mullins. Mullins extended his hand in what could only be described as the most awkward handshake of all time. That was great. Nice to meet you, Winter. What can Cazadorian do for you today? I have a few things. I can say, what can you tell me about Frank Boisseau? What is this place? What can you tell me about Laveau Corps? Or ask about the cross. And we're going to ask about the cross because of this whole crucifix stuff. As Mullins was about to show Frank the cross, a commotion broke out deeper inside the building. Brother Francisco, come quick, there's been an incident. And that was our tall friend from before. What is it, Domingo? It's your brother, he's dead. For a moment, Frank said nothing. How? Where? On Rampart Street, some kind of accident. Brother Diego and Brother Maurice found him. They panicked and tried to take him to St. Mary's first, which is why we're only now hearing about it. Frank turned back to Mullins. I'm sorry, Winter, but I have to go. Winter put his hand on Frank's arm. Wait! What is it? Winter Mullins is about to face a time decision. We only have 30 seconds to make this choice. I am ready. Was Mullins ready to tell Frank the truth? Tell Frank you think you know what happened to his brother. Simply offer your condolences. You don't know if Frank's brother was the same man you may have hit. I'm going to tell him I think I know what happened. I think I may know what... This choice will be remembered and have future consequences for Mullins. Domingo interrupted. Francisco, we need to go now. I have to go, but we'll find you later, Winter. With a slam of the door, Frank was gone, leaving Mullins in a whirlwind of bittersweet agony. He had tried to get the truth out, but he no longer knew what to do. We're removing that. And that is being replaced with a different person, which is this one. Now anybody can go there. De la Cruz had replaced Frank as the front man at the Cabildo. My turn ends. Robichaux already has all 3 dice. I'm not going to be stupid this time. This time I'm going to ask the right question. I'm going to intimidate her. I got a 3 and 2 stars. Each of those adds 1, so that's exactly 1 success. I'm going to do this right this time, and I'm going to intimidate her. The receptionist was easily cowed by Robichaux's look and quickly started babbling. Frank held some kind of sway over the mayor, but I don't know how. There were whispers that he was really the only one in control. Something to do with his connections to the Laveau Corps? That's all I know. Well, at least I finally got that question out. It took me 3 turns. Mullins refreshes a die, but there's none to refresh. I can't go to they don't let me go to the place where the other dead person is, so we'll just keep talking to the Cabildo. The man's gaze was piercing and stern, but his welcome was polite if a bit cold. I'm gonna roll an extra effort die and ask some questions. 4, 7, 10. That is 3 questions we're gonna get to ask. Oh, 4 questions because of my silver tongue. The Grand Inquisitor looked at Mullins with what could only be respect, and we get to improve our charisma as a result. To ask 3 questions. We can ask what you can tell me about a thing, who are you, can you explain the type of institution you are, or I met one of yours at Congo Square, who is he? We're going to first ask about the crucifix. The man was neither impressed nor interested in what Mullins had to show him. Do not return to Cazador with this. We don't have time to waste here. All right, I have 2 questions left. I met one of yours at Congo. I'm going to say, can you explain what institution you are exactly? Does it suffice to say we serve God and protect Nueva Orleans against all that is ungodly? I'm going to try to coax him. If it's history you're after, then know that the founder of our tribunal was Antonio de la Selva, who arrived in New Spain in the year of our Lord, 1774, as a member of the Holy Office of the Inquisition. You know what the Inquisition is, I trust? I hope that has satisfied your curiosity. I'm going to ask if I can join the Inquisition, because that popped up as a new option here. Can I join the Inquisition? The man looks Mullins up and down as if trying to decide whether he was being mocked. He was. A moment passes before he spoke. An admirable sentiment, but Cazador is not recruiting at this time. Pursue the holiness of the Almighty via another rouge, my child. I'm going to try to coax. Far be it from me to refuse to honor a child of Elohim such as yourself. Devotion should always be rewarded. I cannot accept you into our ranks, but please accept this. The man handed Mullins a dark, shriveled object. This was taken by an inquisitor in battle, and it may help you in your struggle against the forces of darkness. Mullins looked down at what he had been given. I'm just going to take this and show you what the card is. Because, yeah. Here is what I was given. It's a vampire! In any arcane or combat test, I can count either arcane or combat and to read the result. The man's gaze was piercing and certain. That's the end of my turn. Yes. End turn. Roboshow's turn. Gets a die back. We're going to talk to this City Hall person again. I'm going to roll 2 effort dice this time because this is getting ridiculous. And I have gotten 3 stars and a 3. So that's a 3 and plus 3, that's 6. It's still only 1 success. I don't know why that's there. I can ask when Rousseau was last seen, if Rousseau had any enemies, or what she can tell me about the Laveau Corporation. So let's ask about the Laveau Corporation. The receptionist was visibly shaken by the question. Frank had some kind of ties to them. He'd go there for meetings at least once a week, but the mayor never went with him. Afterwards, he'd come back and immediately barge into the mayor's office, no matter what he was doing or who was in there. Frank could do that, you see. And the look on the mayor's face after he'd speak to Frank, oh, it was always like he was forced to eat something rotten. She shivered. I'm going to coax this time. Frank was mixed up with the Laveau Corporation, and now he's dead. I told you all I know, and I don't want to know anything more about it. She looked like she's been sucking on a lemon again. That's the end of my turn. Mullins are going to refresh a die. Let's talk to the Cabildo some more. We're going to ask some more questions. We got 7 plus 2 is 9. It's 4. I got 4 successes again. I don't get a bonus that time. I can ask who he is or say that I met one of the things. I'm going to ask what he can tell me about about the combined symbols. Dio Santo! The man exclaimed when he saw the sketch Mullins was trying to show him. The signs of the devils themselves! Take them away from my sight! He wasn't expecting this outburst of hate. The subject clearly agitated the man. I'm going to coax. I said, take them away. Your curiosity is blasphemy. My turn ends. Oh, shoot. Okay. Refreshing a die. I am so tired of talking to this lady. I'm gonna go talk to the detective instead. I'm just kind of sick of that square there. And we're gonna question LeBlanc. I'm going to roll one of these. I got 1, 2, and 4, which is 7, which is 1 success. All I can do is ask him what he makes of something. It's annoying. Let's ask him what he makes of these finger bones. Have I shown them to him yet? He knows nothing. I don't know what to do. These people don't know anything. None of these people know nothing. Maybe he'll have better luck with the lady at City Hall. I have no idea. We're gonna roll just 1 die. I got 2, 3. That's 5. I got 1 auto success, 2 auto success, 3 successes. And 3 questions. He's got three things I can ask. So she's not gonna know nothing about any of this shit. When was Basso last seen? He was here yesterday in the office just like normal. Anything else, or can I get back to work? Intimidate. She bleached when Mullins stared her down. Some police detective came to see him yesterday. LeBlue or LeBlanc or something. Oh, it unhinged Frank and he became erratic, muttering to himself in the halls. He's usually terrifying, but yesterday he was pathetic and scared. It was very unlike him. I have uncovered a new lead. Boisseau had met with Detective LeBlanc, and I get an experience. Did Boisseau have any enemies? I honestly wouldn't know, Detective. Mr. Boisseau was very private, and even if I did know the answer to a question like that, I certainly couldn't share it with you. We have policies here. I'm going to intimidate. No more bullshit, lady. Her jaws dropped. She was not used to being spoken to in that way. I can't say any names because we all hated Frank. He was awful to the mayor and awful to everyone in the office. He would have been fired years ago, but he had powerful friends in the Laveau Corporation, or at least that was the rumor. I have one question remaining. Can you tell me anything about this? Let's ask her about the combined symbols. Maybe she'll recognize them like that. Why do you think I would know anything about that? There was nothing else for the Beaumont agents to learn in here. We are removing her from the board. Okay. So it does remove them when they're done, and we did have something else for the cop because of the lead. So we're going to refresh an effort die here, and he is going to talk to the cop at Congo Square. We visit Detective LeBlanc. We're going to question him. We only need one success. We got 4 and a star, which is actually no successes. You take that fucking toe with me again. I don't care what the captain said. I'll plant my boot so far up your ass you'll taste it. Well, I guess Zach's gonna come back to the cop. Oh, he was already there. I guess Zach's gonna come back to the cop as well. There's a little point to the board is the only like complaints I have here, and there's like nothing to really find that you don't know. So like you're not really watching anything because it's all through the app. But whatever, it's okay. We're gonna question LeBlanc. We're gonna use one die just because I have my maximum. We got 6 plus 3 is 3. That's 9. Or it's 4 successes. Mullins knew how to stroke LeBlanc's ego, and the crusty detective was putty in his hands before he knew it. Maybe I misjudged you, maybe not, but here's a tip for you from one investigator to another. Mullins wasn't expecting much, but the advice LeBlanc offered him was surprisingly good, and I've learned some more investigation. You met with Boisseau the name before he was killed. LeBlanc was startled. Anger flashed in his eyes, but he quickly regained his composure. Yes, I did. There were rumblings something might happen to Boisseau, so I tipped him off that he was in danger. I'm going to intimidate him. Cut the bullshit. What am I, a suspect? That's your brilliant fucking theory? I refreshed the thing. My turn ends. I'm having bad luck with this guy. I'm choosing everything wrong, so we're going to have to coax him this time. I'm going to question him again. I'm going to use one die because I have the extra die. We got 1 success. 2 successes. You met with Boisseau. Coax. That's all I got, Beaumont. It's not like any warning. My warning did the poor shit any good. That's all I got. Okay. So what do you make of this? What should I show him? These are all. Oh, he wouldn't have known this was a no. You can show him stuff I stole from the scene. Maybe I can bribe. No. I don't know what to do here. Okay. Well, I guess. I guess we're going to the agency. The Beaumont Agency was not an impressive building, a one-story windowless brick block wedged between modest houses in the Faubourg Lodovoidai neighborhood. It looked like the kind of rundown structure that would either house a small church or a strip club, depending on who was leasing it. This lack of flash was by design, though. Beaumont agents routinely attracted the worst kind of attention, so anything that might increase that attention was a liability, hence the shitty, unassuming exterior. Still, as Mullins walked through the front door, he couldn't help but wonder why Sophie didn't at least spring for a fresh coat of paint. What does the agency know about the Laveau Corporation? The Laveau Corporation is owned by the most powerful motherfuckers in the city. And at the top is Charlotte Baton, Laveau's president. She's the one woman you don't want to fuck with. Oh, but the one woman you don't want to fuck with in the city is me. She's just number 2. Laveau's been around nearly as long as we have. If they're involved in this Boisseau business, then that complicates things significantly. Tread lightly around them. Much as I dislike you, Mullins, I'd rather not have to scrape your corpse off the streets of the quarter. I guess we'll get a hint. Mullins filled Sophie in on the progress being made in the investigation, then took a step back. The Beaumont director had a brilliant mind for casework, but her insight always came with a healthy dose of venom. So you found some bizarre stuff at the scene. Well, ask someone competent about it. Seems there might be some sort of arcane mojo at work here. If the arcane was involved, then there was one person who was sure to have answers, Madame Babette Bordeaux. Your one-stop shop for voodoo, magic, and must-have souvenirs. So that made a new thing come up that wasn't there before. So apparently, we did have to talk to her. So that's that. All right, well, I guess we'll go to the place we were told to go by there. Visit Dixieland Drugstore. It's weird that I had to get him to do that. Oh, it's a location. Okay. It's location 11. Ah! It's location 11. I know. So here is location 11. Just gonna put it up here. At the Dixieland drugstore was packed to the brim with voodoo bric-a-brac, shrunken heads, love potions, spell books, I Heart Voodoo t-shirts, and other curiosities. Everything on the shelves was innocuous. The real voodoo objects, powerful and dangerous, were out of sight behind the counter. Madame Babette Bordeaux, number 8. She is the proprietor of the Dixieland drugstore. Madame Babette Bordeaux, the kind woman who had run the drugstore for decades, stood behind the counter. Hello, John. It's been a while. You shouldn't be such a stranger. Look around. Let me know if I can help you with anything. A strange cabinet stood in the corner, holding inside its glass case a mechanical simulacrum of a bearded man. The Great Rasputin, the faded flag. We love Rasputin. Oh, it's an NPC. That's fun. All the time. We're going to talk to Madame Babette. We could shop here, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to question her. We're going to go ahead and use 2 extra dice, try to get as many questions out of her as we can. We have rolled a 3, a 2, that's 5, a star, which is a 2, so that's 7, and an auto success. So 7 and an auto success, that's 2 successes. All right, we get 2 questions. We can shop, ask about an object. What do you know about Frank Passot? What do you know about the Laveau Corporation? We're going to ask about an object, and we're going to ask about the black pendant that we found. Babette becomes excited. Now that's something special. That's a very potent amulet. It will help you even in the most dire of situations. Oh, I can't show her another object, and I wanted to show her the combined symbols. That is frustrating. What do you know about the Laveau Corporation? Look at disgust contorts her face. They trade on the Queen's name, and it's a disgrace. Marie would turn over in her grave if she could see what they've done. I'm going to coax. I know they use voodoo to further their own errant ends. They own New Orleans and Dark Orleans both, and anyone who stands up to them ends up in the hospital, or worse. Guess I'll shop. So I can exchange any item in exchange for 1 money. I can buy a gris-gris for 8. Do you think I could buy a gris-gris for 1? I could buy a love potion for 1. I could buy a voodoo doll for 1. I think I can see what those items do before I buy them. So let's take a look at that for your benefits here. So here is 8, a gris-gris, and that lets you add 3 to any arcane roll. We have a love potion. In any charisma test, add 1 success. If it's a questioning test, add 2. Or we could get a voodoo doll, which is in any arcane or charisma test, you can set up to 2 main dice and effort dice to star. That's interesting. We can also take a look at the Seal of Abaddon, or say we're done shopping by now. Let's take a look at the Seal of Abaddon. This one is not ready yet, but if you return to me later, I just might be willing to part with it. In the next chapter, you can buy that. I don't want to buy any of those things. Mullins is going to refresh a die, but there's no die to refresh. We are going to save and quit at this juncture. Again, I'm playing this with a group, so I probably will not be doing any more playthroughs of this. Feeling so far, I love the narrative. The dice system is clever. The one thing that's problematic for me is like I just didn't know where to go, and the place to go was the place that we were supposed to get a hint for, and I don't like getting a hint to go there. But maybe there was other options that would have led us there that we screwed up at some point in time. I don't really know. But the map just doesn't do much. The map doesn't do much. That's my only criticism, is the map doesn't do much. Why do we even have the map? It's not necessary. But I mean, it's a map, it's there, fine, whatever. But I'm excited to play this with my group. I had a great time tonight. I've never played Destinies, which is kind of a precursor to this game, and having played this, I am curious to try and play Destinies, so I might look for some sales on it as a solo game experience for myself. That said, we are going to click the little save button here and see what that does. Do you wish to save the game? Yes. So we tap on this document to add and remove cubes where they are. So Robichaux has talent 479. He has combat 5, 7, 10. He has arcane 6, 10, 11. And he has charisma 5, 9, 11. 5, 9, 11. Accurate. So it remembered everything that I did except for the thing I did with an experience point, it seems, which is kind of cool. Mark the abilities you have unlocked and removed. Remember to adjust state of once per abilities. So we have Driven by Grief, we have Cool Under Pressure, and we've removed Intimidating Interrogator. Scan item cards into your personal inventory to save them. So we have money, we have a crowbar, we have a black pen. Because I might have consumed them during other types of things. Next. Save your dice and experience. We have 1 effort die. Oh, I guess we were supposed to split the experience up. So we're just going to say he has 1 experience. Over here, 5, 9. So this is 8. This is 10. Combat is 7, 9, 11. This is 6. Arcane. Oh, I'm just going to put this here so you can see how this is. Arcane is 6, 8. Nope, that's 10. Charisma is 5, 7, 9. So that's 9. Next. He's got Silver Tongue. He's got Quick Thinking. And we removed Gambling Man. He's got a crucifix from a story event. He does not have money. He used his money and he used his rum, but we do have this vampire hand. He's got 3 effort dice in his pool right now and 2 experience. Okay, so that was incorrect. It should have been 3 team experience, but I'm not going to change that now because of yes. Okay, but I know that for next time. So the game is now ended, and we can exit to the main menu, and that's us. And you'll see here in the other expansion, there's 4 different characters that you play. So that was fun. I enjoyed it. I liked it. I'm excited to play it some more. It's actually going to be hard to wait for the group to do this one. I'm going to try to talk them into playing as all 4 characters because I actually really enjoyed Winter. Which was surprising to me. I like their theme. I have a sense, after reading the story and seeing that he talks to dead people, that they might pick these 2, and then I'd be forced to pick only one of the other ones. So I think I'm going to try to talk them into doing all 4, but we'll see how that goes. But for now, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and do not forget, keep those health bars full. Thank you, and have a great evening.